Welcome back to episode 17 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Melo and Matt today. We got some good things to discuss. I really don't want to touch on the first subject, but we have to because it definitely was one of the bigger headlines of the past weekend. But first, before we get into that, how you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. We're getting into these summer. We're getting into the thick of summer now. Even though the season hasn't officially started, doesn't start for like 2 more days. Summer doesn't officially start. I always thought that was weird. Summer doesn't start till the middle of June, but whatever. Phillies are rolling into Atlanta, so hopefully we can keep that momentum up. And yeah, I'm doing great. I'm very curious to hear how you're feeling about the Dodgers. But give us a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about today, Mello.
Yeah, sure. So obviously, like I just mentioned, Giants. Here we go again with that 2021 bullshit again. They're back all of a sudden. We got the Reds' young core shocking the Astros over the weekend. Yankees, we always got to do some Yankees. Is it time to worry about Aaron Judge? Shohei Ohtani, I mean, listen, he's already the best player in the sport. He's on another level right now. And then we got Factor Cap. And then we got some of your questions that we've looked over them, and you guys brought some good questions today, so I can't wait to answer them.
Yeah, for sure. We got a loaded bunch of topics here. I'd even put in that my Phillies are on like a 6 game winning streak because, it wasn't even. I'd rather talk about how great Shohei's being right now than the Phillies sweeping the A's. Even though, gotta say, props to the Phillies for taking care of your business. That's all we'll say. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. Mello, I'm going to give you center stage. Giants sweep the Dodgers over the weekend. Jump them in the NL West standings. President, leader of Dodgers Nation. Let's hear it.
First of all, let me say this. We are not discussing what happened Friday. This is not the platform. This is not the place for it. If you want to hear about that, you know where to go. There's 2 certain news channels that you can find all that stuff. One ends with an N and the other ends with an S. I'm not going to say what it is. But continuing, that was not fun to be there over the weekend. For the first time since 2012, the Giants walk into Dodger Stadium and sweep. And when they won the game on Sunday, Giants jumped the Dodgers. And a lot of you people, when we put out that other video last week, and you guys are absolutely right. As a Dodger fan, we've been completely spoiled the last decade. We're not used to this. We are not used to only being 7 games, 6 games over 500 in June. We're used to rolling. We're used to getting to the 50 win mark by now. We usually have a good stranglehold on the division. There's injuries and there's definitely bullpen issues right now. But the other main thing is that it's just not good baseball. Not hitting with runners in scoring position, not knowing where you are on the base paths, not recognizing the situation. Again, I'm going to be saying this every week. This bullpen has been a big disappointment this year. They can't get the big timely outs. They're giving up walks, and the most important thing, they're giving up runs with 2 outs. That was the big thing that I saw, not just their series against the Giants, but in their series against the White Sox, where they took 2 out of 3 and they won a series for the first time in 2 weeks. But it was ugly. It was not pretty. Even as bad as the White Sox are, Dodgers had to scratch and claw to get 2 games out of that series. But the other side to look at this is it's June. Guys are hurt. I'd rather them play bad now than in September when I mean, listen, the Dodgers have now played themselves back in behind the division. So now all these games coming up against your divisional opponents, they're going to mean a whole lot of stuff. It's going to mean everything now because now you allowed the Giants to get back in play. You allowed the San Diego Padres to get back in play. And you've allowed the Arizona Diamondbacks to take a bigger lead on this division. Now it's still 4.5 games, and we still have like another 100 games to go. So
Just
there's no need to
about.
hit the panic. There's no need to hit the panic button yet. But and I don't think they're gonna play this bad for the rest of the season. They have too many good guys on that team that they're not gonna allow them to play this bad. But I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet with this team. But it is really, really alarming the way Dodgers have just hit a wall in this last month.
From the outside looking in, there's a few things that I notice, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but one, it just sort of seems like a culmination of just all the bad things right now. Like, okay, you have basically a whole pitching staff on the IL right now for the Dodgers. Like, they got like four of their like best starters on the IL injured. I mean, and then you combine that with stud Bobby Miller, hasn't had a bad game all season, lays a complete egg, on Sunday, right?
Saturday, which he was due.
Saturday. Okay,
He
yeah.
was due for a bad game.
Yeah, it's gonna happen to a rookie pitcher. More than likely. That's gonna happen sometime. And then you add that in with not a good bullpen at all. Some bad base running by Mookie Betts. And then one thing that I'm sort of starting to think now, there's this sort of idea that the Dodgers saved money this offseason to try and save up for Shohei this coming offseason. Is it possible they didn't address some needs that they had? They thought, okay, we're going to be all right with Trace Thompson out in the outfield for us. Instead of, I'm not saying there was fantastic center fielders available or like that they had a shot at signing somebody, but like they didn't necessarily go for all the upgrades. Obviously, they let Justin Turner walk, and now I think he's hitting like 300 for the Red Sox. And part of that is hitting in Boston. I understand, but he's still got lots of good at bats left in him. It almost feels to me like Dodgers were like, we think we can slide by with the pieces we got, led by Mookie and Freddie Freeman. And we're kind of going to hope for the best. And then obviously you got to go all out for Shohei. I totally understand that. But just the pieces that they thought were going to be enough for them they haven't met the mark. They haven't been good enough.
Yeah, and I think the Dodgers, I don't want to say they were punting on this season, but it definitely, there was more that could have been addressed. And then it was another thing, too. There was more problems than I think we all thought we were going to have coming into this season. We all thought the starting pitching was going to be great. Now, part of it is just they haven't been healthy enough. Dustin May's out. Urias is out. A couple of our rookie guys have been out. The offense has been okay. That's not the problem. They're scoring runs. Now, I say that, and then over the weekend you watch them leave runners on base all over the damn place. It's just the bullpen. This bullpen is not good. It's not good. Other guys that were solid in years past, they're getting hit around this year. And at some point, and I think it will be addressed. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go make a splash move, but they'll probably nibble around the edges with that bullpen and see what they can do. Offense hasn't been bad. It's been pretty decent up until maybe the last couple games, but I mean, when you're rolling out, I mean, Muncie's on the IL, but when you're rolling out Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, JD Martinez, who that's probably the golden egg, the biggest signing of the Dodgers offseason. I don't know where the hell this team would be if JD Martinez was not their starting DH every night. And then you have Max Muncy when he's healthy, and then it's just a huge drop off of the bottom of the order. Now, David Peralta's played pretty well. Miguel Rojas, he's done just enough. He continues to play good defense and he gets a hit once in a while when he needs to. He keeps himself on the field. James Outman, dude forgot how to hit a ball. I don't know what happened. Dudes forgot how to hit a baseball. But it's like I said, it's not time to panic yet because it's still a long season. And I will think I hope and I think that number one, I think the Giants hopefully they start cooling off a bit. And then number two, does the moment get too big for Arizona? Because at one point do you do all this to pass up the Dodgers. At what point do you get to an island and you're like, you're holy shit, we're in first place. Dodgers are trailing us. Who knows? Maybe you get on a island alone by yourself. Maybe they crumble. I don't know. But Dodgers just got to get healthy and just continue to just try to get out of this little hill that they can't get over right now.
Yeah, I'll say one thing and then we'll move on quick. But is it sort of you thinking maybe Diamondbacks could be Padres-esque of 2019?
Could be
Was that the year they
in
had the
2021
collapse?
too.
2021.
They've
Yeah.
had multiple collapses.
Where they were the superstar young, not totally young, because obviously Machado's a veteran. He's been there and done that. But like youngish team and they're all hot, just like running away with the division and sort of a little bit of a collapse. I don't know. Diamondbacks have definitely been solid though. Going to give them all the credit they deserve. But we'll
Definitely.
switch gears. We'll switch gears here now. The Reds, your first place in the NL Central, Cincinnati Reds. It feels a little bit strange to say that, seeing as 99% of the people in the world probably predicted the Reds to finish last place in the NL Central this season. Them or the Pirates seem like a certified lock for last place, but they have called up some rookies and they have lit the world on fire. And they don't seem to want to be stopping now. So they come out, they sweep Houston over the weekend. And Houston is totally decimated by injuries too. Not quite maybe the level as the Dodgers because they have still their starting pitchers, but like Jordan is out and obviously McCullers out for the season. So they've had their injuries as well. But it's still very impressive. The Reds have been able to surprisingly management has called up these players, not just held them down in the minor leagues till they like had to bring them up. Like Ellie De La Cruz called him up. Let's go. And he's been hot. He's been performing at the major league level so far. How much confidence you have that they can sort of keep this going?
Oh man. I mean, you got to feel real confident when you're playing in the NL Central. I mean, the Cubs are still 3.5 games out of first.
It's strange to say.
Yeah, it's strange to say, and they're not even at above 500. But this is really anybody's division. Honestly, it really is. To answer your question, I think just simply because of the division they play in, they've got a shot. It's the only bad thing is that just because of the records in that division, on only one team is going to get in, just because there's so many other good teams in the National League. But it's amazing when you call up some rookies of what they can do for a clubhouse, what they can do for a team. Those guys are playing hard, and they're playing to win every single night. And I hope it continues. But there's no reason why they can't go on a run here. And it could be a two-legged, three-legged race four really. You want to throw the Cubs in there, I guess, out of pity. But who says it can't be a Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh race to first?
100%. And when you get Joey Votto finally came back for the first time in almost a year, hit a home run. let's go. We're pumped for Cincinnati. All their pieces contributing. And like you said, they're in the NL Central, bad division. They 100% got a shot. Milwaukee hasn't been doing anything really. Obviously, Cardinals, terrible team this year. Pirates still trying to find their way as a young squad too. So yeah, it's definitely awesome to see them and looking forward to see what they can do in the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think for the first time in like 3 years, Joe Burrow is no longer on the front cover of the Cincinnati newspaper.
That's right. The Reds might be
Ellie De La
getting
Cruz now.
That's right. Reds are getting a little bit of shine. And now we're gonna switch gears again here. Now moving on to the New York Yankees. Um, Kyle wasn't
Again.
here to talk about them, but yeah, again. Even when Kyle's not on, we still got to talk about the Yankees. But anyway, right now, Yankees are they kind of like a bad team without Aaron Judge? And he's been out with turf toe. I think it's turf toe ever since the series against your Dodgers, running into that fence out there. And
Still waiting on the check.
the Yankees, I think I heard, are like 8-13 without Aaron Judge on the season in games he hasn't played in. And now with this looming, and I think the latest on him is probably out till around the All-Star game, maybe a little before. So Yankees don't seem to be in a good spot as of right now. I I've got some thoughts, but what are you thinking, Melo?
Um, Yankees, you are not winning the AL East this year. Let me say that right now. It just ended over the weekend for me. So they're out. So now you got to worry about a wild card spot because you're not winning this division. Um, it's concerning. The last 2 weekends against the Red Sox, a team that is below you in the standings, didn't look good. They didn't look good. They don't hit, can't pitch. Similar problems like the Dodgers, but it's amazing what one player can do in your lineup and just having him on the field every night. It's almost like there's this security blanket when Judge is in there every night. It's like, okay, no matter what happens, at least we know Judge is going to come up 4 times a game. And anytime a ball is hit to him in right field, he's going to get to it. And occasionally he'll make an outfield assist. But I don't know what happens. And it's crazy because baseball's not a one player sport.
Mm-mm.
It's a team full of 9 guys on the field, and obviously you got a couple bench guys. But for the Yankees, it's Aaron Judge. If we don't have him, we're not any good. It's just so strange to me.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning, and I'm not going to say that they don't have other injuries as well because they do. Harrison Bader's finally coming back, I think tonight or sometime soon, and then like we talked about probably 3 or 4 times, Carlos Rodon hasn't thrown a single pitch for the New York Yankees in a regular season game so far. So when he comes back, obviously that's a big contribution as well. But some of the problem sort of lies in the fact that you got guys who probably belong in AAA or they are DHs by nature, and you're tossing them out in the outfield. I mean, think about the guys that the Yankees are putting out there in the outfield every night. You got Willie Calhoun. You got Giancarlo Stanton. Those guys are not outfielders Stanton, sort of, but he's better as the DH. That's 100% agreeable by everybody. I'm not. This roster construction is not good at all. The pieces that they have. Okay, you got Rizzo and you got Judge and you got Cole. Those are some pieces you like. Gleyber Torres has been good. Who else you really got on that? There's some bullpen pieces that are nice. Nestor has not been good this year. Josh Donaldson has been terrible this year. IKF, maybe he's found his role a little bit as a coming off the bench guy or every other day, something like that, which is good. Peraza has not been good. Volpe hasn't been good. or not Peraza. I'm sorry, he hasn't been called up. Volpe hasn't been good. There's just not the guys on the team just are not contributing at all.
Yeah, and going into this season, this looked like one of the better teams in the American League, at least on paper. And especially when imagine where this team would be if they didn't re-sign Judge over the offseason. It might be as bad as the Red Sox. Well, you can't say
Legitimately.
that now, but
And even like sure, a Garrett Cole start and a Carlos Rodon start are worth a lot, but if your offense can't score, okay, a one inning or not one inning, one earned run given up across 7 innings, that's a great start. But if your offense can't score that one run to match the other team, it's useless. You still lost the game. So offense has been abysmal, and hopefully they can get the pieces back, and even maybe Brian Cashman will make some moves before the trade deadline, at the trade deadline, to get some outfield help. But I don't know. It just I'm sort of feeling the Yankees fans' pain a little bit because like, and this seems strange to say, but like the pieces on there just that's just not a good assembled roster at all. Like, what are you doing with like 35-year-old Josh Donaldson? Like, he hasn't shown you like anything at all in his tenure with the Yankees that makes you say, hey, he's actually kind of worth however much they're paying him or whatever. And Stanton's, you have to kind of keep him because of the contract you signed him to, but like he gets injured all the time. And when he doesn't, he's either striking out or he's hitting a 420-foot bomb, but that's not as often as it used to be for him. Judge, people hate when Yankees fans hate when you say he's injury prone, but he's gotten injured. That's just a fact. Whether it's unlucky stuff or not, he's gotten injured. You know, running into the wall, that's not necessarily injury prone, but he's gotten injured. Harrison Bader has been like his first game back that he came back this season after getting injured. He ran into Volpe or somebody in the outfield, and it was like, or IKF. It was like, this is your first game back, man, and you just like re-injured yourself. I know it wasn't serious, but like this team can't seem to catch a break.
no, it's these freak accidents too. These freak injuries that are happening, but with you just mentioned Brian Cashman and the moves maybe he'll make. I mean, what's really out there right now? This is one of those years, and the Dodgers are gonna have the same problem too. Okay, you can tell yourself, all right, well, we'll just get some pieces at the trade deadline. Where? Where? A lot of these teams, more teams are competing this year, more than not, which
Definitely.
is honestly kind of cool that we have more teams that are competing this year because there's been in years past where it's been the three division winners in each division, two wild card teams, and then the other 20 teams are not playing well. And they're selling guys off left and right. But I don't know what these teams are going to do because
Yeah.
what's out there?
Yeah. Let's run down through the teams here. There's probably not even necessarily any sellers in the AL East. Like the Red Sox at this point, I wouldn't be selling.
No.
You're like half a game behind the Blue Jays right now, and nobody thinks that they're going to sell. AL Central, okay. I understand that depending within like a 5 game stretch could determine if some of these teams, like the Guardians, maybe sell. And it depends on management as well a little bit. Like if they want to this get rid of Shane Bieber, which I don't think they will, but it's possible, I guess. And then the Tigers, sure. I mean, they're probably selling, but what kind of pieces? They have a lot of young guys, really. White Sox, that's the main piece of the league right now that people are looking forward to absolutely rip apart. Everybody wants a piece from them, it seems like.
And they don't have to sell you anything.
No,
They don't have to do anything.
no. Royals, there's not a lot of like
Uh,
great pieces there.
I mean, yeah, Chapman, but I mean, do you really want to sign up for that again?
Yeah,
Especially if you're the Yankees? I don't think so.
yeah. Oh, maybe the Dodgers. They need
Uh,
bullpen help.
yeah, we do, but
It,
I'll need to see more.
that's fair. AL West. This is how the standings currently are in the AL West. Rangers, Angels, Astros, Mariners, and then obviously the A's. Only team you're thinking that is selling probably the A's.
But what do they
And
have that
yeah,
people want?
exactly. Okay, Brent Rooker's been good. They're not going to trade him. He's got like 5 more years of control. Like Esteury Ruiz, no, they're not going to trade him. He's just making like his second year in the league. Like, no, they don't have people to trade really. And at least, all right, you got the Nationals as sellers probably. But that's the same thing as the
Again,
Royals. There's
what do they
like
have?
nobody really. NL Central, all right, 2 teams probably come to mind, and this is the same as the AL Central, I'd say. 5 games could change who's selling there. A 5 games for the Cubs, and they might 5 good games for the Cubs, and they're sitting in first place basically. So Cardinals, I think we're both probably saying they're going to be sellers. Now that doesn't mean Goldie and Arenado necessarily, even though I did hear rumors. Goldschmidt, Philly, come on over. We need a
Oh,
first baseman. But I don't expect that to happen. Anyway, Cubs could be, maybe. NL West,
nobody.
Rockies,
But
literally the
again,
Rockies. What do they have of interest? Not very much. So they were just ran through all your buyers and sellers throughout the whole league for you. So
yeah,
just to sum it up, not a lot of teams are selling, and the pieces that are, or the teams that are, don't have great pieces other than the White Sox. And they might not trade anybody.
no.
So I don't know. The Yankees definitely need to figure it out though, in terms of, I don't know. The players need to be as dumb as it and basic as it sounds. The players need to be better. Pretty much is it, and they need guys to get back healthy. So, you got anything else you want to add on the Yankees, or are we ready to move on?
I mean, I'm ready to move on, but ESPN, can we take a break from maybe the Yankees on Sunday Night Baseball
Yeah.
and
Anyway,
Fox too? Are we done?
yeah. I honestly thought that not seeing the schedule beforehand, obviously knowing the Giants and Dodgers played and the Red Sox Yankees, I was like, maybe they switch it up and put Giants Dodgers on for Sunday Night Baseball or the Fox Saturday night game, but no, nope, they weren't doing that.
They got to start. We need to flex. They got to do the NFL route and start
Yeah,
flexing some of these games out.
they definitely should. Um, Somebody who's been flexing their muscles recently. Haha, good transition. Shohei, Shohei Ohtani, and from the Los Angeles Angels, right down the
Oh,
road.
it is
We're just
not
really
right down the
firing
road.
Mellow up today.
In the other
Um,
county.
it, um, he has been killing it. And listen, somebody on
What a
the,
surprise.
I saw a quote. If you're getting Shohei Ohtani fatigue, you might need to choose a new sport to root for, because you better get used to it. This guy is going to be great for the future. And just to give you a little look at what he's been doing lately on the season, almost has 5 WAR already, Baseball Reference WAR on the season. Um, Hitting 300 and 384 on base, 632 slugging, and a 1.015 OPS on the season. Not to mention, he is tied for the league or leads a league in home runs as well as RBIs. Okay, let's move to the pitching side though. Give me a
Oh, there's
second
more.
here. Oh yeah, there's more. A 3.29 ERA. Not too bad through 14 games started, 82 total innings pitched. And just last week, he was leading the league in strikeouts. He now has 105. It's top 10. I don't know what more to say about this guy. He has the least hits per 9 innings. Or, oh no, sorry. Is that most or least? Probably least. That definitely least. Least hits per 9 innings and 11 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings. He's just taking it to another level. When we were probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were saying pitching hasn't been great. Hitting really hasn't been great. Teams sort of figured you out. They thought pitch you up and in. That was the thing on Shohei this year. Pitch him up and in case you guys weren't aware. And guess what? He leads the league in home runs right now. You didn't figure out Shohei Ohtani. Hate to break it to you.
No. And he might legitimately win the Cy Young and the MVP. He's definitely in the conversation. And we've said this time and time again. As long as he continues to hit and pitch at a decent level, he should be in the conversation for the MVP every single year.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for Judge's crazy 62 home run season last year, Ohtani probably would have won it again. Maybe. Probably. I have to go back and check. But this guy can do it all, man. We're running out of words. We're running out of adjectives to describe him. Dude's just a unicorn.
Yeah.
He's taking the mound every fifth day, and he's hitting a bunch of bombs every other day.
And there's games where he does it both in the same game.
Yes.
Where he's out there pitching, striking everybody out, and then he goes into the dugout, grabs a helmet, bat, puts on some batting gloves, goes out and smokes a home run 400 feet. And there's just nothing like him in the league. Like, legitimately, Babe Ruth was an amazing baseball player. He did not actually pitch as much as people think. Like, he was not a pitcher for very long. And I understand we're in, like, crazy to think, like, year 5 of Shohei in Major League Baseball. Seems a little weird to say, to me at least, that he's been in the league for that long. But he's just turning it on a whole nother level. And I think if you asked me a little bit earlier when Aaron Judge was healthy and he went on an insane stretch for like 2 weeks, I was saying, Judge might be AL MVP again this year. Like, there's a chance that he could pry that from Shohei because Shohei, like I said earlier, wasn't pitching good, was not hitting great. But now it definitely does not look like that. Like, in my mind, there's no question Shohei's MVP at this point.
I would agree with you, and it's rubbed off on the rest of the team. Let me say this. Shout out to the Angels. They're playing some good ball right now, man. And I can't believe I'm going to admit this to Matt, and I'm going to say this on this podcast. I've enjoyed watching the Angels play this year.
There you go.
That's been one of my guilty pleasures in 2023. The Angels, with the last week and a half, they've been fun to watch. Now, it sucks again. Rodon, Hollywood didn't want that Hollywood lifestyle. Back on the injured list again with his wrist. Zach Neto, injured list also. But man, these guys are playing some good ball right now. Their pitching still is an issue, but they're scoring enough runs to get it done. And, a month ago, we were talking about, it's time to trade Shohei Ohtani. The Angels are not doing anything. Hold the phone. I believe as of today, the Angels have the last spot in the wild card.
Yeah. I believe right now they're the reason the Houston Astros, been to the ALCS 6 seasons in a row, Houston Astros aren't in the playoffs. Like, they're ahead of them in the standings. And in terms of Shohei Ohtani, and we said about him getting traded, we'll talk about it in a second here. Little prelude, a little foreshadowing to our Factor Cap segment here in a minute or two. But obviously, 2-part thing here. Mike Trout, we want to see him in the playoffs. It happened one time, one series, and they lost to the Royals. 2014. Yes. We want to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. Obviously, we want to see Shohei in the playoffs as well. If they make a little playoffs run, do you think that boosts the chance that the Dodgers keep him? Don't answer. Or the Angels keep him? Don't answer. We'll talk about it in our Factor Cap. But like you said, Angels playing.
That is what we call tease in the business.
It is. Angels playing great baseball right now, and yeah, like you said, fun to watch. Like Diamondbacks are one of my favorite teams to watch. Not Phillies baseball. Like if I'm throwing a random game on West Coast, I'm gonna check if the Diamondbacks are on. Evidently for you, Mello, it's your buddies down the road.
Hey, listen, I'll give kudos to the Angels. They're playing some good ball right now, and they
Yeah,
deserve the recognition. Now, listen, they can. We were saying this last year, and then they lost 12 in a row and got their manager fired. But these guys are playing good,
yeah,
and I hope they keep it up
100%, hundred
because
percent.
it's not very often you have both teams in Southern California play this well or have winning. It's the first time because, by the way, the Dodgers and Angels begin a 2-game series starting tonight at the Big A, which I will be there tomorrow night. Excited about that to see
There we
Shohei
go.
pitch. Um,
Nice.
um, this is the first time since 2015 that these two teams are meeting with a winning record.
Wow.
Now,
And just
Dodgers
a
have done
hint,
their part.
I was gonna
It's
say
the
just a
Angels that
hint.
haven't done their part,
The Dodgers have not been under 500 like ever in the 2010s. So
and that won't change.
yeah, so the Angels, it's kind of on you guys. You're not keeping up your end of the bargain. Um, but we'll pay off the tease now because we're moving into new segment we do. We like to post these factor cat questions for you guys on Sundays, and then give our thoughts on them on what would normally be Monday. Today we got the recording on Tuesday, but we're gonna lead it off here. Get through these pretty quickly. Mellow factor cap. Either the Reds or Marlins will make the playoffs.
I'm gonna go fact, but I think it's more likely that the. Oh wow! As I say that, I'm looking at both teams are in a playoff spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think fact, and if I had to pick between one of them, I'm gonna say Cincinnati,
Ooh.
just because that division's more wide open, and I know Miami's record is pretty good. They're almost 10 games over 500, but here come the Phillies, and I would like to think here come the Mets. I would like to think so. Maybe in a couple weeks, and if the Mets continue to play like this, and if the Marlins continue to play the way they are, maybe I'll switch. But for right now, just because of this division that Cincinnati plays in, I gotta go with them.
That's fair. And honestly, I think there's a chance both make it. Like the Marlins, if they can keep up their pace that they've been on right now, they're outplaying like the Phillies hot streak that are on right now. They've pretty much matched it. Like maybe they lost the game to the Phillies in that time, but it's been insane. And it's it's kind of refreshing to see these teams be good again. Like it's been a while since we've seen the Marlins and the Reds be good at the same time. Like going back to like 2014 then, and even the Marlins, I don't know that they were good in 2014, but like that's the last time the Reds really were good. And yeah, I think both have a chance. If I had to pick one though, I think you said it right. The Reds with their division, it's just an easier road for them than battling with the Braves, Phillies, and Mets in the NL East and Nationals
The
too.
gauntlet.
Here come the Nationals, right?
Oh yeah, here come the Nationals.
Okay. Another interesting one here. Framber Valdez and Christian Javier are the best starting pitching duo in Major League Baseball right now.
Damn. I'm trying to think of other ones off the top of my head. Um,
I'll read some of the popular answers for that one. Um, McClanahan and Eflin, Max Strider and Freed when Freed is healthy, Wheeler and Nola. That was not me who commented that, by the way. Or McClanahan and Glass now. Corbin Burns and Woodruff, Nathan Eovaldi and John Gray, which it would be Nathan Eovaldi and Jacob deGrom, but obviously deGrom out for the rest of the year. Marcus Stroman and Justin Steele. Um, that's probably pretty much the best ones. Dodgers, you could have said Kershaw and Bueller. You could have said Kershaw and Bobby Miller, Kershaw and Urias, obviously, or even like combination of any of those, but they just haven't been healthy. So hopefully it gave you a little time to think about it, Mello. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna go fact.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm thinking the only thing, the only other one that I was really thinking about was the guys in Tampa,
Yep.
McClanahan and not Glasnow, the other one,
Zach Eflin.
Eflin. Yeah. So
It's close.
just for content reasons, I'm gonna stay with the Astros on this one.
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna have to go the other way. And no, we didn't plan this out.
No,
I'm gonna go with the Rays. I think McClanahan and Eflin. Um McClanahan, almost won Cy Young last year in the AL. Or did he win? No. This is really bad. I'm kind of blanking myself here, but I don't think he won last year. AL Cy Young. No, he
oh,
didn't. Justin Verlander did,
yeah,
Matt.
yeah, yeah, there
Obviously.
you go.
Come on now. Yeah, he
We knew that.
finished that was bad. He finished sixth last year in AL Cy Young. So he definitely has the pedigree for that. And, Christian Javier has been great. Obviously, painful, mostly no hit my Phillies in the World Series. That's tough. So that's obviously why I gotta lean with the Rays and former Philly, Zach Eflin. Couldn't quite ever figure it out in Philadelphia, which I don't love him figuring it out in Tampa now, but whatever. Good for him. Happy for him. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Rays, even though I don't know McClanahan or not McClanahan. Javier and Framber Valdez is definitely a lethal 1-2 punch. Okay, last one here, Mello. Will Shohei Ohtani be on the Angels at the end of the season? For the rest of the season.
I'm gonna say yes. Fact. Um, I've heard this a lot on the local radio stations out here in Los Angeles. Angels should have traded Shohei Ohtani last year because that was as high as his value was ever going to be. I know he's been on a tear this year, but Angels are playing well. And as long as they keep this up, they should be in a playoff spot. Now, you play the risk, and I've said this before. You want to go all in with Shohei for this year, knowing he could leave? Go for it. But if you fall flat on your face, just know that he's leaving and you're not getting anything out of it. That's the risk you take. But I think the Angels are already beyond that. So I'm going to stay fact. He's still an Angel at the end of this season.
I'm gonna go fact as well because they're in a spot where they're competing. Now, if they were in the Mariners spot right now, I would probably say Cap. I think that Shohei, he got a taste of winning in the World Baseball Classic. And just seeing the kind of person that Shohei is, he's going to want more of that. He's a competitor. And if he doesn't feel that the Angels are able to compete and he's going to be a free agent, he controls his own destiny at the end of the season. And if he makes it seem like he's going to walk, obviously the Angels, smart decision, business decision, you might want to trade him and get what you can instead of getting nothing when he walks in free agency. But I think that as long as the Angels are showing they can compete this season and they're making a push to the playoffs and they got the pieces to build around, well, obviously they got the pieces to build around. They got two generational all-time talents on the team. But as long as it seems like they're supporting those pieces as well, I think that he's going to stay with the Angels. And I don't know. I think momentum's shifting a little bit that he stays in Anaheim, not moves his way down to Los Angeles.
Well, there was a poll that came out from The Athletic today. They asked 100 players, where do you think Shohei Ohtani will be next season? 57% of them said he will be a Dodger. 11% he said he would stay in Anaheim. Now, let me
Oh,
say
wow.
this. Since you mentioned it, the World Baseball Classic couldn't have come at a worse time for the Angels front office. Ironically, it was in his last year under contract with the Angels. Um, he got a taste of what it is like to win. Obviously, like you just said, Shohei Ohtani wants more of that. He's said that a whole bunch of times. I want to be on a winning team. I want to win games. I want to play meaningful games. It's like one of those sliding door effects. That World Baseball Classic that Shohei Ohtani got to experience with Japan couldn't have come for a worse time if you were in that Angels front office.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the Angels handle it if they do get to like a couple games below 500 by the trade deadline, and if the Mariners turn it on and it doesn't look like they're quite in that spot to compete. But hopefully, you obviously don't hope so, but I kind of hope he stays with the Angels and brings Mike Trout a chance to compete in the playoffs. But we'll see what happens. That's probably going to do it for us for this week, for this episode, I should say. Mello, I know you want to give your Dodgers a little pep talk. What do you got? Closing thoughts.
Um, just win. Just figure out a way to win a game, please. I can't believe this, but for the first time, I think in a long time, Angels are coming in hot to the Freeway Series, and the Dodgers are kind of stumbling a little bit in here, which usually it's reversed. But I mean, you win these two games against the Angels, you're gonna hear me saying all the Dodgers are back, and here we go again. But if they get swept, the sky might be falling when we come back here on Thursday.
There you go. You heard it from the president of Dodgers Nation, as I said
Yes,
earlier. Um, I will say I'm riding my high horse into this series against Atlanta for the Phillies.
I had fun beating up on the A's over the weekend.
Yeah, I did. But listen, we were trying to do the Dodgers a favor and taking 3 out of 4 from the Diamondbacks too. So
We didn't help. We didn't help.
you didn't do your part. But no, we were able to beat the Diamondbacks, and that felt good, because I was a little worried going into that series, to be honest. And then the A's, even like there were some moments I was a little scared Phillies were going to lose the game, but it all worked out. We're going into Atlanta now. You got Atlanta, and then you got the Mets. Take care of business, Phillies. Okay, can't be losing both of these series. I understand Atlanta's a great team. Maybe you can lose that series. You better not get swept, though. All right. Got to take at least one of them. At least one of them. Should be gunning for two, obviously. And then with the Mets, to me, two is the minimum. You should be going for the sweep against the Mets. They are down for the count right now, it sort of seems like. So take care of business, Phillies, and hopefully we'll see you maybe in second place. Could
Okay.
happen for the Phillies. So we'll see what happens. But that's going to do it for this episode. We will see you guys on Thursday.
Adios.